Greetings and welcome to AJM Landscape Design Studio's do-it-yourself guide to measuring your landscape. My name is Anthony McClendon and I am the owner and principal designer for AJM. In this video, you'll learn how AJM measures residential sites. I'll be using relatively simple examples, and I understand it may not fit your landscape to a T, and there are other ways to measure, but the idea is to give you the tools that can be adapted to your specific needs. The methods discussed here are not perfect, but we try to get close like horseshoes. There is a handout available. Just copy the web address listed in the description below and paste into any browser to download. It will come in handy when I discuss the different measuring techniques. So here's what you'll need. A tape measure of 100 feet, but a 25-footer will do, but note that it'll take much longer to measure. Pencil and paper to record your measurements. Any paper will do, but graph paper is probably the best. Smartphone or digital camera. This is actually very important. I will refer to these pictures often to get a better understanding of the existing conditions. In addition to your home and existing landscape, take pictures of views outside of your yard, and you can never take too many pictures. And lastly, email. The email can be used to send measurements, and AJM can communicate receipt. You can snail mail your information, but it will take a bit longer to process. So the first thing you'll want to do is sketch your existing landscape. You're going to sketch your house, garage, and other existing structures within the area you want designed. Please include windows, exterior electrical outlets, hose bib, gas, and AC units. You want to sketch walkways, driveways, patios, and other surfaces. And you also want to sketch the perimeter of your property. Identify fences and gates. You'll also want to identify and draw existing landscapes such as trees and shrubs, especially those that you want to keep, and the lawn. Identify any slopes, and you also want to identify north, which we'll need for the planting plan. So here is a sample sketch I put together. I've been using a Microsoft app called OneNote for years for my site work. I'm just trying to keep the amount of printed paper down. I found it very easy to use, and these notes are easily emailed. This is not, however, an endorsement nor a requirement. Please use whatever you feel most comfortable with. So as you can see, I also have a laptop with a pen that allows me to draw this. So going through and creating windows and sliders and existing patio and hose bibs and electrical outlets, as well as drawing the perimeter of the property. Now I'm going to go through and label each one of the elements. It's something I definitely will need when I go through and create the base sheet for the plan. Last and certainly not least is noting where north is. I will use this to create a planting plan and knowing where the different microclimates, where the sun and shade are most likely to be on your plan, and that helps guide me in deciding which plant material will actually do best in the different areas of the yard. Now we start by measuring the house, and there's two methods to choose from: basic or detail. This is an important step because some of the other measurements will be based on the house measurements. So the first thing we're going to take a look at is the basic measuring method. It's probably what most of my clients are going to choose, as we'll see when we take a look at the detail and see the difference between the two measuring methods. And what I'm going to use for the purposes of this session is the rear yard, which includes some of the property lines and some of those elements. So we're going to take a closer look at the basic measuring method, and we're going to start with the home first. Now I like to start by measuring the home and then work my way outward. So I'll measure the home and then I'll measure the perimeter of the property. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pick a side. I'm going to pick the left side here and place my tape down. But before I actually walk and measure to the other corner, what I want to do is I want to measure 90 degrees out. What I'm going to do is measure from this corner to the fence or property line. Now what I'm doing is I'm actually going to establish the angle of the perimeter. Now in our example here, it's very neat, very simple, straight line, but for those of you that have, say, a pie-shaped lot in which that angle might be a little bit different, you'll see that this makes it very easy to measure and get that angle and get it as accurate as possible. So I've measured that angle, I've recorded that information on my sketch, and then I'm going to go ahead and stretch out the tape to the other corner to measure this corner. Now, since this is the basic measuring method, I'm not going to measure where the windows are in this example, but you still need to note them. So I've stretched the tape out, I've measured from one corner to the other, I've recorded that information. While I'm here at this corner, I'm going to go ahead and measure from this corner to the fence or property line. Again, I've just established that angle for the fence line. Once I have that recorded, I'm going to go ahead and pick up my tape, and I'm going to measure from this corner to the next corner. Again, I'm in my sketch, I'm still going to note where, in this example, I have a slider, I have a couple windows. I'm going to note them, but I'm not necessarily going to measure them. And then once I've measured that to that second corner, I'm going to go ahead and measure from that corner out to the fence line, and again I'm establishing that angle from the other side. Once I've measured that, I'm going to go ahead and pick up my tape, measure from this corner to this corner, and again you can see that I do have the windows and doors noted on the plan, but we're going to skip actually measuring those. And then to again establish that angle for the perimeter, the fence line or the property line, I'm going to measure from the fence to the corner. Now we're going to move away from the house and measure the perimeter. And again, we've already established the angle for the fence line, so we don't have to worry about doing that piece. And all we're really going to be doing is just stretching the tape and measuring the fence line or the property line. So the first place I'm going to put my tape down is at this corner. Stretch the tape out, measure here and record. Then I'm going to pick up my tape and then measure from this corner to this corner. And then lastly, from this corner to this corner. Now, there is one other thing that we can do just to check our numbers, and it's something that I actually do, but it isn't necessary to do. But what you can do is also establish the boundary, so that back fence line, you could do the same thing as we did before. So I'm going to run my tape from here to here, and again I'm establishing that angle for the back fence line, and then again from here to here. Again, it's not something that you necessarily have to do, but it is a nice check to make sure everything comes out nice and square. It's also something that you may want to do if you have a pie-shaped lot, because that back edge, we have a nice neat little straight line for the example here, but that may not always be the case. Now we also need to measure all existing main patios, secondary patios, retaining walls, seat walls, things like that. In this case, I am measuring a very simple rectangular patio, and one of the first things I need to do is I need to establish where that patio actually begins. So in this case, I'm going to measure from this corner to the beginning edge of the patio, and then measure from the beginning edge of the patio out to the far edge, and then across. And now I've established the dimensions for the patio itself. Now here is a real-world example. You're just going to measure from one corner to the next, record your measurement, and you're done. Now please note the yellow tape measure that I have there on the ground. And here's a tip. If you're measuring alone, you use a screwdriver as your third hand. And you can see it in this picture here. It's got a black handle. It's actually a long bladed screwdriver. What I do is I put that through one end of the tape and then stretch my tape out and record my measurements. Now let's take a look at the detail method using the rear of the house as an example. Two things to note are the hose bib and electrical are marked in this example, and measuring 90 degrees from one corner out to the fence or boundary, the patios, and the perimeter is the same as in the basic method. Instead of stretching the tape from corner to corner, we will measure each item individually, hence the detail. So in this example, we're going to start by measuring from the corner to the edge of the slider, from the edge of the slider to the end of the slider, then between the slider and the window, and then from the window to the edge of the window, then from the edge of the window to the hose bib, from the hose bib to the electrical outlet, from the electrical outlet to the edge of the window, and then from the window to the end of the window, and then from the end of the window to the corner. Now, I know some of you are wondering, why in the world would anyone use this method? Well, I use an offshoot, which I'll show you in the real-world example. I use this method because the more information I can give the builder, the better. For instance, where is the gas line? It can come in handy when determining the cost of trenching a line run to the outdoor kitchen, or the electrical for conduit to run to a fountain. So here is the real-world example. Please note the hose bib. So you measure from the corner to the hose bib, from the hose bib to the edge of the window, from the edge of the window to the end of the window, from the end of the window to the leading edge of the next window, and so on until you've reached the end. So here's how I use the detail method. Notice the tape measure is stretched like you would do using the basic method. Well, I go from right to left here, recording the measurements in a running fashion. So the right corner would be 0, and the hose bib would be 1 feet 6, and the window would be 2 feet, and the other side of the window would be 5, and so on. Now I can quickly map this information with the use of CAD software to create my base sheet, or what some folks will call the existing conditions sheet. Here's another pro tip. I measure the height of the window from the ground to the bottom end of the window as well. They're typically anywhere from 3 to 4 feet in height. Now if you want to place a planting bed under a window, I don't want the plants to cover the window, either for aesthetics or safety. So you need to know what that limiting factor will be before creating a planting plan. Next, we want to measure other existing features such as trees, shrubs, odd or organic shaped patios. However, I only find location of trees and shrubs and ground cover such as lawns that I intend to keep. For plant material, I use triangulation. Now here we're going to measure a tree from a known location. And that known location is one that was previously measured on the home that is in the line of sight of the tree. That's very important. The easiest is to pick a corner. So I'm going to pick this first corner. I'm going to put my tape down and measure from there to the center of the tree. I'm going to find another location, again, in the line of sight of the tree. So I'm going to choose this location over here, this next corner, and then measure to the center of the tree. Now we continue using this method for each tree or shrub you plan on keeping. These locations are extremely helpful when designing a landscape transformation that will incorporate the existing material. Now the same technique can be used for shrubs as well. The plant material that will be removed does not need to be measured. So here's a real-world example of triangulation. Again, we're going to start with a known location that's measured from the house. So from this corner to the center of the tree, and then this corner to the center of the tree. Measuring odd or organic shapes such as patios or planting beds rely heavily on the detail method, as you will see. In this example, I am using an organic shaped patio. I start from the corner of the house and measure over to the beginning of the patio. From here, I measure the straight portion to establish my first point. I then measure from the beginning of the slider to the edge of the patio. Next, the center of the slider out to the edge, and so on until I have established a reasonable outline of the patio. Once complete, it is a matter of connecting the dots. For those of you who do not have locations on the house to measure from, you can use another technique. You stretch the tape measure the width of the patio. You've previously noted the beginning and end of the patio when measuring the house, and measure out to the edge of the patio every 2 or 3 feet until you have a reasonably accurate representation of the patio or lawn's curves. In case you're wondering why measure something you may want to remove, it's all about cost. Whether you're going to do it yourself or have someone else do it, you'll need to know how much is being removed. Maybe to size a dumpster or have a reasonable idea of how much material someone else will remove for you. Here's a real-world example. Again, notice that you will need detail measuring for at least the area covered by the odd or organic shape to establish a baseline along the house. Starting at the corner, measuring straight out, center of this next area, measuring out, and so on until you have measured all the points necessary to create the shape. Because this is the information that I will use to create the base sheet. And here is another example. Now I return to the sketch, and here's the finished product. This is something that I'm looking for from my clients. It doesn't need to be straight. It does need to be neat, and I do need to be able to read the writing. Obviously, in this case, I can read my own writing. It is chicken scratch, but it is legible, and I can make out the numbers and the different elements that are on the sketch. And here is the detail. Again, if you decide you want to use the detail method, it clearly needs to be legible. I need to be able to read the numbers clearly as well and actually know what each one of the elements are. This last sample is included in the handout. As you can see, this is definitely readable, as I used a ruler and took a little extra time to write neatly. I'm not saying that this is what you need to do, but again, as you've learned in grade school, neatness counts. Well, you have survived and have reached the end of the measuring video. I want to thank you for taking the time to view the video and hope you were able to glean some useful information. Should you have any questions, please do not hesitate to send an email. Also, please take a moment to subscribe to my YouTube channel, where I will have more how-to videos for DIYers, 3D landscape animation, and video stories behind some of my favorite install designs. Thank you again.